Hey, welcome back to the Infamous Podcast. This is Brian.
This is Darryl.
And Darryl, this is the time where I can say welcome back, and it makes sense. Because if anybody watched my YouTube video, I said welcome back, and I was like, that doesn't really make any sense, because this is me doing a YouTube video for the first time ever by myself. So, yeah. Anyway. Real quick, I did my first ever... I took Darryl's lead after months and did a solo YouTube video, reviewing South of Heaven. I recommend you check it out. And next Thursday, I'm going to be doing an interview with Aaron, the director of South of Heaven, and that will be going up on everything. So be looking for that next Thursday. I'm actually going to record it, edit it, and put it up as quick as I can. So, Darryl, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Got out today in the, well, I would say craziness, but it really wasn't crazy. When you have you have an SU, a 4-wheel drive, or like I believe yours is all-wheel drive.
Mine
right?
is symmetrical all-wheel drive, but I have the X mode for deep snow or regular snow.
Yeah, so got outside today a little bit. Got to Whole Foods, picked up a pizza.
Ooh.
A little bit after work. So
dude, Whole Foods pizza is legit, and I know I work.
No,
I know I work at a different like grocer retailer, but I only shop at Whole Foods.
We actually got a La Rosa's pizza, just a kind of pepperoni.
It's
really.
I mean,
good.
La Rosa's
really
pizza is
good,
really good too. If you ever come to Cincinnati,
yeah.
Other than Skyline and Montgomery Inn, it's our best food export. All right, so yeah, this week we've got a bunch of CW pilot news came out, which is weird, and we're gonna dig into that. Darryl's gonna lead us in the Gran Turismo 7 State of Play, which is gonna be fun to talk about. I love driving games. We got Supes and Lolo episode 4. The inverse method, which is a great name. And then we have Mandalorian season 3 episode 2. From the Desert Comes a Stranger, and which is the penultimate episode of the Book of Mandalorian season 1. So there is that. So do you have your blue hot dog fingers ready to go?
So I will say yes, but they were blue earlier when I was cleaning off my car, but not anymore.
Okay.
But I will say, watching a couple clips of him from the Clone Wars, it's pretty accurate.
Oh yeah, no. Like, we'll get to that. We'll save that.
It's funny though. It's very funny.
All right. So cool. CW pilot season is upon us. So this came from the Hollywood Reporter on the 3rd, so yesterday as of recording. Supernatural Walker prequels, Gotham Knights land CW pilot pickups. The network also asked for 6 more scripts of the Zorro project from Bartholomew Rodriguez. Better known as Robert Rodriguez, but he sucks. So it says here the CW is taking another swing at a Supernatural spinoff. The network's first pilot orders of the 2022 cycle include The Winchesters, a Supernatural prequel following the parents of Dean and Sam, in the long-running series that concluded in... It says it concluded in 2020, but I seem to remember they did a 10-year retrospective in 2020.
Yeah, there's this like weird phrase that I hear all the time is like beating a dead horse.
Anyway,
what happens when you beat it to the...
The network also ordered a pilot for Walker Independence, a prequel to Padalecki's current series, and Gotham Knights, a DC Comics show from the Batwoman writers that has nothing to do with the upcoming Gotham Knights video game. Anyway, why are they doing a Walker prequel series so soon?
Why are they doing? But bottom line is, all of these, the question I have is why. Huge fan of Supernatural, huge fan of Jensen Ackles, and I am looking forward to him in season 3 of The Boys. as Soldier Boy.
Soldier Boy.
But we don't need... Supernatural already told Mary and John's story in several flashback episodes or time travel episodes well enough that we don't need a sequel, even though I do like the Supernatural world.
Well, they're going to break all of that by making Mary something other than what she was in the Supernatural seasons, where she may or may not have appeared, that may or may not have aired.
Well, the funny thing about Mary is she was the one in the family of hunters from the start, not John. No. Which I actually like that,
which is
change.
Cool. But from what I understand, like the part of the thing about the Winchesters picking up was it's going to be, they're going to break some things from the canon. So, which to me doesn't necessarily matter as not being like the biggest fan of the show. But who are they going to get to play like a young Jeffrey Dean Morgan?
Yeah. Again, I don't remember who the actor was that played him in the series, the few episodes that he was in. He did a really good job.
Yeah, but that was also like 10 years ago that he played.
I was going to say, that was a while ago. Now going with Walker, why? I mean, Walker's in its second season right now. Yeah. And it's not like this is a prequel that takes place 20 years before the fact. This is a prequel that takes place in the 19th century.
Yeah, in what is it, 1883? They're going after that Yellowstone money. So
yeah, and that's what I was thinking. Like they're trying to do that Western type deal for the CW. And again, they're doing Zorro, which takes place in the 1800s. With again, I couldn't care any less for a show than I do the Zorro.
We'll get to Gore. Well, hold on. Let's just stick with Walker for a second. Because we'll get to Zorro because there's some other things to bring up that when it comes to public domain heroes at the moment. So so Walker, showrunner, and a Frick is both the executive producer with Padalecki, Dan Lin, and Lindsay Liberatore of Rideback, and Laura Terry of Frickies Pursued by a Bear Shingle. I don't know what that is, but I don't get it. It's like to settle in independent Texas, and it centers on Abby Walker, a wealthy Bostonian whose husband is murdered on their journey west. So they're kind of breaking history again, where it's like, okay, well, there's this woman, whose husband got murdered, and now she's going to be wealthy out on the whatever. I don't necessarily. I don't understand why the CW has to CW things up quite so much.
Kind of like the idea for Gotham Knights.
And especially that it comes from the writers of Batwoman, which is legitimately a bad, like, hold on. It is objectively a bad show. There's no subjectivity to that. If you like Batwoman, I am really curious as to how often you beat yourself in the head with a hammer. And if you do it for fun or because you like Batwoman, you feel compelled to do so.
Yeah. It's a terribly written show. We like stuff that is terrible. I understand.
I like horrible stuff all the time. Hudson Hawk is one of my favorite movies, and it is objectively bad. Like, there's no subjectivity to the fact that they have a bunch of CIA agents that were named after venereal diseases, and then we're super excited when they got named after candy bars. So, Hudson Hawk doesn't use a watch. He sings songs. So, I don't get it. Here, following the murder of Bruce Wayne, again, fucking DC Comics and their need to tear down their main characters. I fully expect Clark to die at some point this season in Supes and Lolo. Anyway, following the murder of Bruce Wayne, his rebellious adopted son forms an alliance with the children of Batman's enemies when they're all framed for killing the Caped Crusader. With Gotham as dangerous as it's ever been, the group of fugitives could be the city's next saviors. Okay, who is his rebellious son that they're talking about? Is it Jason Todd?
Is it Dick Grayson?
Is it Damien?
Is it Damien?
Is it Tim Drake? Is it Duke Thomas? Is it Carrie what's her fuck from The Dark Knight Rises? Who knows? It's certainly not Stephanie Brown because she's all woman. Anyway, yeah, in the fact that they're doing this and they're not tying it in a fucking game, it's like, come on. Like, the game looks cool as shit, even though there are concerns about it, right? The fight mechanics look like they're going to be awesome. Actually, the gameplay looks like it's going to be good enough to make up for a bad story. In my opinion, from everything I've seen, this is a day one game for me. Which, there's not... How often do I say this is a day one game?
Right. And when you said that it was... Because when you sent me... Before you sent me this article, you were reading it, part of it, and the fact that it's not connected to... in any way, shape, or form to the game. Mm-hmm. I mean, it could be just like tangentially connected, but this is like... Batwoman writers notwithstanding, which is a huge, gigantic red flag. And I actually had to reread the whole Batman's enemies thing, teaming up with Batman's enemies. I had to read it like twice just to make sure I was getting this right.
So yeah, I'm assuming this is gonna be Dick Grayson. I just am assuming, but like you can't get him more wrong than Titans has. But I think CW's like, here, hold my beer. Anyway. All right. So then the next one is Zorro. The CW is going outside its usual development playbook by ordering 6 additional scripts. So not just the pilot, but 6 additional scripts. Though no decision has been made yet that the extra teleplays could pave the way for a script-to-series order. Script-to-series order means they haven't shot anything. They just buy it based on the scripts. So, it's... we'll see. But here's the fun thing about it. See, the CBS Studios drama centers around a young Latinx. Is that how you say it? Latinx? Latinx? I don't know. Let's just go with Spanish. A young Latino woman seeking vengeance for her father's murder. She joins a secret society and adopts the outlaw persona Zorro. The show is one of 2 Zorro projects in development. Wilder-Valderrama is set to star in a telenovela-style version of the story for Disney-branded television. It's Sean Toretta, Robert Rodriguez, his wife Rebecca are writing the CW's version. Rebecca Rodriguez is also set to direct. Isn't nepotism great? They executive produce with Ben Silverman, Rodney Farrell, and Howard T. Owens of Propagate, Jeff Clark, Eric Bromberg, Zorro rights holder, and John Gertz and Jay Weissletter. Okay, so this is not the only gender-bent public IP superhero or hero show that's coming out. They're doing another version of Robin Hood. Did you hear about this?
I did not.
So it is Robin, female, Hood, and her name is not Hood. It's, it's in modern times. It's in a projects. It's, a woman of a POC or WOC, I guess would be a woman of color who is going to, fight the patriarchy. And she's in a band called The Hood, and they live in Nottingham Estates or something is the name of the projects that they live in. And just sounds really fucking dumb.
I lost focus within that first sentence that you started talking about that because it sounds so bad.
Yeah.
That sounds like something that should be on the CW.
It sounds like something that should just never be made.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of stuff on CW should never be made. Let's be honest. But I did not hear of that, and it's not surprising. I mean, it hasn't been surprising for a while, the lack of creativity from these Hollywood types. The way we show that we're tired of this is not watch, not even tune in any way, shape, or form, because even then they keep trying to make these.
Oh yeah, it's stupid. If you want to watch this, like you're probably watching the Olympics, which nobody should be watching the Olympics right now either.
No, I'm not watching a second of it.
No, I actually got in a fight with who last night because they were watching the Olympics, and I was like, "What are you doing?" Anyway, yeah. So this CW nonsense, and we've been going on about this for like 12 minutes now. So let's move on to Gran Turismo. But like, this is nonsense. All of this is nonsense. Not one of these pilots is a good idea. Make something original. Quit with the superhero stuff. Go back to making like some cool like Veronica Mars-esque shit.
Yes. Absolutely.
That's Nancy Drew could have been really good. They could do a Hardy Boys thing, which I think that's on Hulu. But do more mysteries. Do some kind of Ghost Hunters type thing that's not supernatural, but like kind of like a comedy thing. Go do an actual comedy that's funny. Do a musical. Do a musical series. That could be fun too.
Cop Rock.
Yeah, like that stupid Zoe and Her Extraordinary Playlist. That was actually a fun show for 2 seasons.
Yeah, I like that show.
So I was bummed that it got canceled, especially because it ended on a Anyway, yeah. So just CW do better. All right, Gran Turismo 7, go.
Yeah. Okay. So this is from HyperX Gaming, which I've never come across that before. But so it's been
you sent this link to me. I'm like, is this spam? Is this a virus for my computer? Like I opened it in like a secure browser.
It was from my kind of how you have the Google options to look at stuff on your phone. That's where I got it from. Okay. It was the Google article. So anyway. It's almost been a decade since the last real new Gran Turismo game came out on the PS3.
Which Gran Turismo game?
The PS3
is shit.
Yes, they are. So we have a month from today, March 4th.
March 4th.
For you PS4 and PS5 owners. Sorry, Xbox. Sorry, PC.
I'm not
PS4, PS5 owners.
Xbox or PC like owners. One, PC people get all sorts of cool games that we don't get, especially as a Mac user.
This is true.
And as far as Xbox, it's Microsoft. Go fuck yourself.
Yes. So again, this article talks about So this article, as the series' 25th anniversary approaches, the excitement engine has been humming away, like that. Some of that right there in the background. They had the first in-depth look, the state of play. It was about a 30-minute session on YouTube. You can check it out. If you're a fan of racing games, you need to check this out. It's 30 minutes, and it just goes through some of the stuff that you're going to see. First of all, the visuals in this game. Wow. Even though it's going to be on the PS4, I am really looking forward to seeing what the PS5 can do with this. You have over 400 types of cars, from old school cars to some of the new cars. You have used cars that you can get. One of the big things that they talked about in this state of play was the insanely realistic weather system. Now, this is one of those things that, rain and all that, not just the rain and how it affects the track, which that'll probably be the biggest thing as far as performance, but its weather systems are being modeled to accurately represent the regions of the world for each track. Those changes will impact visual effects like stars and planets in the night sky above, but also factor in traction, slipstream effect, and car performance.
That's awesome.
And speaking of car performance, one of the things that Gran Turismo games have always been about is car customizations. And with that, what you're going to have is over 650 aerodynamic parts that you can mix and match, 130 different types of wheel designs, 1,200 different types of color measurements. And then you put all those together, it's like several thousand customization parts. Like you can do wide body modifications, roll cages. But one thing that you can do that you weren't able to really do in the last Gran Turismo games is add stickers. And one of the things they had, you think about, NASCAR and how they have, the sponsorships all over the cars. That's an example of how you can, kit out your car with, all these stickers. It's the customization. It's one of those things that for a simulation fan, that can keep you busy for just it's almost like it's unlimited amount of time that you can put into customizing your cars, however many cars you have in your garage. One of the things I do want to talk about is when they mentioned the different types of cars that you can get over 400, they actually have a used car lot where the prices of the cars and the catalog of cars changes on a daily basis.
Well, that's cool.
So that's another really cool thing added into it. There are 34 tracks, and some of these tracks are real life tracks, and it's to scale. And what that means, if it takes 2 minutes, 6 seconds of this car getting around the track in real life, it should take the same amount of time in Gran Turismo 7, which is another great thing.
I hope I can buy a 2017 Honda Civic and make it gunmetal gray.
Dude, that's probably my Xterra was gunmetal.
Yeah,
I love that color.
Dude, I miss your Xterra. Your Xterra was fun.
I do. So. Dude, every time I go past an Xterra, I just go.
That's how I get with Elements. Dude, I wonder if there's an Element. That would be great if I could race an Element so slow.
I don't know if I have not seen the
I don't see any
list
SUVs.
of cars yet.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, this is going to be. They did also say there are going to be more tracks and cars added throughout the life of the game.
Cool.
They didn't say if that was going to be free DLC. I'm thinking it is. I don't think they're going to do the microtransaction. At least I haven't seen anywhere where they mention that.
It's not EA, so
no, yeah. There's this thing called their photo mode is called Scapes. Yeah. And you can put your car in over 2,500 locations. And again, just looking at the graphics of this game and the visuals, and not just the graphics of the cars, but just the surrounding area, the tracks, the sky, the weather systems. This game is. I already have 2 games that are going to come out this month, and then I have this. The one thing I'd like about a Gran Turismo game, though, or a game like this, simulation, is I can pick it up and play it for 20 minutes, 30 minutes here and there, and not have to worry about story or watching character development and stuff like that. Because with Horizon Forbidden West coming on the 18th, and then Elden Ring coming on the 25th, that's enough for story and character there. This is one of those where you can just get lost in just building your car, building out your garage, taking a few laps around the track. A couple other things they did mention is a virtual museum, which is basically the history of vehicular travel. They have, like, in this article, they actually show a picture of, what is it called? Like the 1886, the Benz Patent motor wagon. And then they have some other motor wagons back from the late 1800s, early 1900s as well. So it's good. This is not just a fun simulation, but it's almost like an homage to the automobile. Mm-hmm. And more than anything, this seems to be as complete of a race driving simulation as you can get. With the, you also have trials. There's things like, you might like this, Brian. Like there are drifting trials that you can do. That was one of the things they showcased in the state of play that looks really sweet. So they do have some of these rally type cars. They have also what they call a literal car cafe, which it just shows all, not only does it show the cars, but it shows challenges. So you'll have challenges to get, say, maybe a classic body mod of, maybe of an Impala or something like that. I don't know all the cars, but this example is a Corvette Stingray. So seems like there's going to be a ton of stuff, maybe more than any other racing simulation game that we've had to date. Yeah. And I do want to emphasize that simulation thing, because you have games like Need for Speed, which are fun. Yeah. And it's about, and again, they do have, like I said, they do have those drift challenges and other challenges that, they haven't mentioned yet. So I think it's going to be it's going to be one of those games that for the simulation fans, this is, like you said, with Gotham Knights, this is a day one buy. for fans of auto racing or cars in general, it's a day one buy.
Oh yeah.
For people who are looking for maybe more of a fun game, as a fun racing game, a little bit less realistic, I still think there's enough in here that when you see all the options, you'll still be wanting to buy this.
Right.
I'm really looking forward to it. I haven't bought. I think I actually Gran Turismo 6 was the last racing game that I actually played with any consistency in the last 10 years. And it's probably been 6-7 years since I really played that.
Mine was NASCAR 05 on the PS2.
Oh, I remember that. I remember those NASCAR
I played other
games.
racing games, but that NASCAR 05 was amazing.
I remember those.
Like I would literally just sit there and play for like 5 hours because it was like a real they did the same thing with the scale. This is a cool ass game. I think it's the pictures look good, the gameplay looks good, the everything that they have that they're adding to it and changing and kind of making it more real worldly. It'd be funny is if they just followed the inflation chain. So used cars are completely out of whack.
Well, one of the things they did say, and I'll read this from the article itself. Where is it at? Where it was talking about, the used car dealership allows you to snag older models at a discount price. Mm-hmm. A discount that is provided the car hasn't become a prize collectible.
Yeah.
Cars that are worth more as dated models in real life will be reflected here. So that is actually a part of the game, and you'll see.
I had to look up the value of our cars today, and my car is worth more than I paid for it. After a year, it'll be a year in about a month that I've had it, and yeah, it's pretty funny.
So again, like I mentioned, this month is going to be great for gamers because I think it was today that martial arts game Sifu came out on the PS4 and PS5. I'm not sure if it's an Xbox game or not. I think it might be PlayStation specific.
What is Sifu?
Well, after our podcast, you'll have to check out the video, see if you like that. No, I didn't. I just thought about it just now that, and I think it's more of a discounted game, so I think it might be like a $40 game. I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, that came out today.
$44.99 if you have PS Plus. You know what I would like them to make a game of is that show Warrior, where you can be a Som and you just go around and kick people's ass and then go back to the whorehouse.
Rated mature.
Just like Grand Theft Auto. Anyway. All right. Yeah, dude, Gran Turismo 7 must buy. All right, let's move on to Supes and Lois this week. Man, this show is so incredibly consistent.
Yeah.
I just what was it? You said episode you called episode 2 the worst episode of the series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, for many shows, I won't say, especially CW shows, that would be one of the better episodes. Well, no, that would probably be one of the best episodes in a series catalog. When you're talking about superhero shows on the CW, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, no, this was a good one. We learned more about Allie Alston, in her what's his name? Ian McShane's character in John Wick. Winston, her little Winston move in the diner.
Yeah,
with her associates, if you will, cultists, some may say. But no, this it was really, really good to see what happened there, because it picked up right where it left. Well, actually, it picked up 5 years prior with Lucy moving out of Clark and Lois's apartment, arguing with Lois how but you're so perfect. I'm not perfect. No, you're perfect. Yes, you are. I'm not, I swear, but you are.
Their chemistry is
I'm gonna say the chemistry between the actress who plays Lucy and Bitsy Turlock is suspect at best.
Oh, yeah.
It is not. I'm not putting that on the shoulders of Bitsy Turlock. I'm putting that squarely on the way Lucy was portrayed.
Yeah, I wasn't a real fan. And again, I think part of it is you're not supposed to like her. I don't remember where they left off with her character. Well, I wouldn't have known because I didn't watch it, but when she was in Supergirl.
Yeah.
But
well, I'm going to be honest. I am not a huge Jenna Dewan fan. I mean, in the first place.
Other than this and Step Up, I know she's been in other stuff. Don't get me wrong. I can't think of it.
She was in Waterborne, The Grudge 2, Step Up, The Jerk Theory, American Virgin, Slightly Single in L.A., The Wedding Year, and then she's done a bunch of TV. She was in The Rookie. Actually, she's still on The Rookie with Nathan Fillion. And
I'd stop watching that show.
Yeah, I mean, she was on bad. Supergirl. She did Lip Sync Battle. She's like, I know her as Channing Tatum's ex-wife, right?
Right.
I'm just not a huge fan of hers. And her, and I'm not even to say, like, I mean, she's super attractive, and I'm sure she's good in other things. Just I haven't liked what she brings to, most of the things that I've seen her in, and to be fair, it's not a lot. I have not seen a lot of the things she's been in.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, you're not supposed to like her. Like, it's because one of the things, and this is kind of one of the questions that I was asking myself while I was watching this is, yes, you love this person. You would do anything for this person. How far will you go to disrupt your life for this person when they clearly do not want you? Because sometimes as painful as it is, as much as you may disagree with it, there are times you just have to let someone make their own decisions and get in their own mess, and then know that you're there for them. But Lois can't. I don't think Lois is capable of doing that.
Right. And
I do like where we see, that Lois, we actually do see that she's not capable of just, not, I don't say let go. Well, yeah, it would be letting go and saying, look, this is what I think. This is why I did what I did. But you are your own person, and I'm just going to have to let you make what I believe is a mistake.
Right.
And just know that I love you, and I'll be here if you need me, but I'm not going to be, because there are seriously points in all our lives where we have someone where we need to decide, are we going to keep disrupting our lives to try to help this person that clearly doesn't want to be helped?
Right.
Or just say, hey, you go and fly, and what happens, just as long as you're okay with taking responsibility for what happens. But I can't continue to disrupt my life for you. I can't continue to have this poison in my life because I love you and because I want you to do well. And we see, because it affects it. It could be a huge potential on Lois's credibility as a reporter when if somebody finds out that she did not tell the whole story and purposefully did not tell the whole story because she had an agenda to see Allie Alston, pay for what she had done.
Right. And Allie Alston is played by Raya Klinstead, who is in Home Alone 3. Do you remember that one?
No.
So let's see. Movies, there's nothing really like that sticks out, but she was she's done a ton of TV. She was on Grey's Anatomy for, it looks like, an episode. She was on Yellowstone. She was on the reboot of Charmed. She was on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So, she's got, she was on Heroes Reborn as a series. Oh, yeah, she was a series regular.
Oh!
Right. She did a couple episodes of Masters of Sex. She's done, she's she's been working. I mean, she was in Sequest DSV, so like that's how far back she goes.
Wow, she's got a lot of TV acting credits on there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and so I mean, and again, she was on Nashville for 8 episodes. And so this is a new kind of foil that we've seen for Lois on like television. Oh, that's right, she was on Dexter. I forgot about that. Anyway, sorry. No, but I mean, she's like, Allie is a different kind of foil for Lois, someone who's not taken in by the cult of Lois like Chrissy was.
Yeah. Which I find it interesting, Chrissy's response with not necessarily that she like, I just want to know what Chrissy's motivations are for wanting the whole story, because I admit, when I first watched this, I thought Chrissy was falling under the sphere of influence of Allie. But then watching it again, the other side of it is maybe Chrissy is doing what she should do as a reporter and trying to get both sides of this story. I'm not sure yet which one it is, but I just thought there's some very interesting developments going on with Lois's story arc. And like I said earlier, the potential of really damaging her credibility if the truth gets out of how she hid portions of the story of Allie Austin and the cult because of trying to protect her sister.
And how, and that was like the whole beginning of the episode. We had the whole thing with Kyle and Lana about the quinceañera. Emily from season 1, Emily Fan, warned Lana that the mayor was looking to dig things up. We also learned that Kyle is a cheating whore, which kind of made me sad that they did that.
That really made me sad. Actually,
it's like, why? Come on.
Because
come on.
Yeah, because again, we have been praising this show on how they didn't take what I would call the easy CW way out for a lot of the drama,
the shortcuts, if you will.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. The shortcuts to create, like, they call it, when in wrestling they say cheap heat.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
To cheap drama, and it seems like that's exactly what they did with this Kyle situation. A situation that it doesn't need this.
Yeah.
Because Kyle is recovering.
We knew he had a drinking problem, right? And,
right.
And they've dialed it up to 11. Like, oh, he was the town drunk now. It's like, was he? Like, because we never saw any of that. We saw that maybe he had one or two too many a couple times. And, obviously a lot happened. Like, we haven't seen Kyle Cushing's whole life. But I again, though, you gotta, Eric Valdez, man, just like killing it with the contriteness and all of that. And the scene where the bartender puts her hand on his hand and the way he pulled it back, like, that was just a really interesting character moment. Cause it's like, okay, like how bad off was he? So I mean, there's that added drama, and I think they made the best of it. Also, like the whole thing about going after, like they thought the guy was going after, what's her name, Sarah.
Oh, and, Sarah.
Yeah, and it turns out that wasn't the case. But yeah, so I mean, and that was kind of like the C story this week, right?
Right. Yeah.
Lucy and Lois was the B story, and then the A story was really, really interesting. And then there was a D story that like kind of goes unnoticed, but we'll talk about that in a second. Is you had the whole Bizarro thing, and Bizarro shows up on the Kent farm, which was really cool watching the way they were fighting and things like that. I loved when John Henry called for the hammer and the AI is like,
without the gauntlet,
but you don't have the glove, and he's like, I don't care. But that was really cool. And then we got to see a closer up look of his necklace, which I am assuming, again, I'm gonna make a bold proclamation here. It has something to do with the Phantom Zone.
That's what I'm thinking as well. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's a pretty fair guesstimate. that we're doing here.
I'm gonna bet your life that it has something to do with the Phantom.
Why are you always betting my life? Jeez.
Because I like living. Living's fun.
Jeez,
you're always complaining. Oh, Michigan this. Oh, the Bengals that. Oh, the Reds this. Yeah. So. And Tag took off with the. So they end up in Antarctica, and Lieutenant Anderson sends
that was no, wasn't that Brazil? No, not Brazil. That was somewhere in South America.
I thought they were in Antarctica.
No, it was somewhere in South America, and I was looking at it, and because it said where it was. I can't remember.
Oh,
and then
it was at Salar de Uni. Let's just go with that. And Bizarro quickly dispatches the girl and the black guy.
I know, right?
Well, I mean, the Diversity Superman squad was not up to the task. I mean, even Tag got hurt a little bit. But he escaped with the necklace.
He got a heart punch.
Yeah, right. It's a good thing he's a speedster. But yeah.
Yeah, I did like watching, Bizarro's heat breath.
Yeah.
And I like how they did these fights, Clark or Supes versus Bizarro, and they were just like quick fights because when he was on the farm, John Henry comes in and interrupts, and then he's just like, Bizarro's just like frustrated and just leaves.
Yeah.
And then once Clark like uppercuts him in the face, he never comes back.
Right.
So, but we do have to talk about, speaking of John Henry, which again, love Wole Parks in this role.
It's a shame how Bizarro fucked poor John Henry up.
Yeah, and I mean, John Henry. There was the unfortunate trifecta: hammer gone, suit depowered, and you are in a medical
coma. The hammer shattered. It was such a cool effect too. And okay, so I'm really glad they didn't do the Smallville thing with that, because anytime one of those weapons hit like Clark or another super, like indestructible super, it hit and it was this like slow motion, like collapsing into the chest and then blowing out. And then once it got to like a certain radius, it sped up. This just like shattered immediately. Like it took a second. You could miss it if you weren't paying close enough attention. That was the cool thing about it.
And I also love the way he threw it too. Like just the whole body mechanics of it.
The whole body mechanics of the steel suit this season has been really cool. From last week when he jumped into the suit, to how he was dealing with like the low power and no shields and that sort of thing was really good. And like just like I don't think we talk enough about how good Tyler Hoechlin is as Superman. We both really like him as Dad in this, but like as Superman, he's a really good Superman. I do enjoy his portrayal of the Man of Steel. And what makes it all the more impressive is that like 5'4", he does cast a large shadow.
So
I'm gonna meet him one day and he's gonna be like, maybe just like 2 inches shorter than me.
Yeah. So that point about him being Superman, he embodies the character of Superman, especially when Natalie comes to see, that her dad's in a hospital, and she says, "You're Superman. Why couldn't you stop this?" And the look on his face, like just all that guilt of, because again, we always see the hero, and we almost always see the hero save, but the times when the hero it doesn't get there in time or is not quick enough or whatever, that was that look he gave her or he had when it was just like the world was on his shoulders, like I'm Superman. And I couldn't help my friend. And that was a great point, what you said, like, as far as him, I love him. I just love him as, geek dad, but he's a great Superman too. And I think, like you said, we sometimes overlook that part because he's such a great dad that, we really haven't seen, as far as Clark Kent. He's so great in that role that it sometimes overshadows how good he plays the titular role of Superman.
Right. So, Yeah, and then so the D story that kind of went like under the radar. You had Jordan asking Sam Lane to train him, which
yes,
I really really liked. And you know, because Jordan stopped a crime, got caught on film, had Sam you know do his DOD thing to erase the tape from wherever from his phone.
It's like playing. It's easier than Candy Crush,
right? Oh yeah, that was
I
a great
love
line.
that.
That was a great line. And then Jonathan Kent, Hophead.
So
I will say, I did like that he got the vision power
Yes,
and not strength. That was cool. And like learning the X kryptonite kind of affects it. And we knew it affected everybody differently. But I was really disappointed that he did that.
yeah. And if you're with someone who's like, hey, you know what, take this illicit substance, because you probably shouldn't be with that person. That's just because like her reaction where it's like, hey, we what's his name bought like 5 like vapes or whatever.
Right.
So if you're not going to use it, I will say this, and not just for this, it's for Jonathan. So that scene between Jonathan and Natalie,
Yeah.
like when they're walking home from school, that was not in the broadcast version of the show.
Okay.
So I know the last couple of weeks it's been, they really haven't added anything. That whole scene was taken out.
Okay.
And I really like that scene.
Yeah, that was a really good
not just
scene. So
not just the bird, you know, looking at the bird and seeing it was like so far away, but just their conversation. I really like the conversations those two have, like not just not just this week, but just in general.
Yeah.
I mean, I like how those two actors play off one another.
Gonna hook up with his sister from another dimension,
I kind of think so too.
or his half sister, you know. And then it's gonna be like, ew. They are on a farm too, and it's like, oh man, come on. Don't do this. Don't do this to us, CW. Don't do this to us, farm folk. Anyway,
but yeah, I think that was an important scene between them, and
why that's not on the broadcast
version
version is stupid.
Yeah, it's stupid.
All right, so because I love talking about ratings, just as a reminder, the first episode 1.09 million, the second episode 1.12 million, third episode 0.90 million. This week 0.78 million.
Oh, geez.
It's so disappointing that more people aren't watching this. All right, real quick, out of 5, Culty. I said it right. Culty Sisters.
Can you say that again?
Culty. You fucking cunt. Anyway, all
right, Guy Ritchie.
I didn't say it. Do not say the word. Anyway, all right. Out of 5 Culty Sisters, what do you give this episode?
One of the things you said is that this show just remains consistent, and I will be consistent with my rating. I did like last week's a little bit more. I will give this a 4 out of 5. Another strong performance. The Lois story, where I wasn't hugely enamored for the last couple of weeks, I like how it's picking up, and just the questions it's making me ask, not just about Lois, but just about her situation as a whole. We love the whole Clark and his son and his sons. This is just a strong, consistent show. It sucks that it's going to be for the dumb Olympics. It's going to be down for 2 weeks. It's not going to be back till February 22nd.
Don't watch the Olympics. Just watch the repeats of this.
Just watch repeats of this. Yeah,
on the CW app.
Yeah,
just watch
absolutely.
the repeats. Fuck the Olympics. All right, I went 4.25.
Oh, nice.
I did 4.25. Because I liked it. I thought it was good. It was fun. I watched it twice.
Yes.
So,
and I watched like three or four reactions as well.
I didn't watch any reactions, but I do not normally watch shows twice. So I've actually stopped listening to other podcasts and watching reactions to the things we talk about altogether, even after the fact, after we review them.
Oh, okay. Really?
So,
interesting.
It's very interesting. All right. Man, we only got 10 minutes left if we want to stay on track. Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 2. Go.
From the desert comes a stranger.
Actually, here,
I tried to read that in.
Let's rate this real quick. So before we do this. Okay. So out of 5 missing toothpicks, what do you give this?
I give it, again, another 4. this is, I mean, this is not Book of Boba Fett. This is Mandalorian season 3. We know it.
Yeah,
I don't care
This is
because I'm having
season 3, episode 2.
But guess what? I don't care because I'm having a ton of fun with these last 2 episodes.
Absolutely. This is
reminding me of what
episode.
Star Wars. Yes.
So, I went 6 out of 5.
So what do you give it? Ooh, wow!
I love this episode. I've watched this episode 3 times. One, it's got Raylan Givens in it, Space Marshal Raylan Givens,
yes,
otherwise known as Cobb Vanth. We got a really great deepfake for Luke. He took a stroll through the woods with Grogu and was just kind of force nudging him along, which was equal parts amazing and patronizing all at the same time. We had my boy. My boy was in there. Made Den wait. Had the little droids build him a bench, and we had Ahsoka. Like, what more can we ask for? We got to see Luke in full on like training mode. So with the end of season 2, when we saw Luke, a lot of us were like, "Oh, this is the fully realized Luke Skywalker that we've been waiting for." He is not yet a fully realized Luke Skywalker that we've been waiting for. He still has doubt. He still is not sure that he's on the right path. Ahsoka, her line, "I'm a friend of the family," was really, really good. And then when she talks to Luke about how he reminded her of Anakin, I'm not going to say it got dusty in my house. It also is ironic that the Clone Wars Anakin pop that I ordered from Entertainment Earth in 2019 came this week. So yeah, just 3 years late. I completely forgot I pre-ordered it too. Anyway, yeah, it was good. This was really good. And even with the Boba Fett stuff, it moves stuff along with the Pikes and wanting to take over Tatooine. I really liked when Cobb was protecting Freetown, formerly known as Mos Pelgo, and he just dumped the spice into the desert, which was funny because his deputy was like, "The marshal can't be bought," and Timmy, as I like to call him, Timmy, looked at him and was like, "No, I can totally be bought, dude. Just shut up." But most importantly, we got the greatest gunslinger moment in all of live action Star Wars with Cobb Bane just wandering in and out of the desert on foot, looking badass.
Again. Yes.
Fingers like blue hot dogs. Like, it was just so awesome to see. You guys all remember Matt Mitchell. He's been on the show a few times. He drew for Inktober a Cobb Vanth and he gave it to me. That was his gift to me from Inktober, which made me happy. And you know, yeah, I love this episode. I love it. Like, this is to me my favorite episode of The Mandalorian.
I was going to say this more than even last week's episode, even though I like last week's episode a little bit more because some of the Jedi stuff, or not Jedi stuff, but Darksaber stuff. Mm-hmm. But this was more of a Mandalorian episode than even last week because it held more of that Western vibe that we got from The Mandalorian from the start. Not just the music, but then you have, again, you have, think about the camera angles as far as when Cobb Vanth comes across the Pikes, and the camera angle shows them, and it just shows him and his holster and his weapon. Mm-hmm. And then you have Cad Bane coming out of the desert, and that slow walk, and just the back and forth camera panning, or the way they did that. And again, I'm a huge Western fan. I'm a huge Western fan.
It was very much the...
Yes. And that's one of the things that got me, even though it was not, it wasn't perfect, obviously, but one of the things I love so much about The Mandalorian it had that spaghetti Western Sergio Leone feel in a lot of the episodes.
Oh,
and
it still had the Kurosawa Seven Samurai stuff to it. Yeah, no,
yes.
this is really good. And you know, as much as we rag on him, Dave Filoni is still the Padawan apparent to George, but you know, it was just really, 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 really good. You know, and then you had Luke kind of being a dick at the end. And interesting thing, Filoni broke canon here with Yoda's lightsaber, because in the comics, which are supposed to be canon, Yoda's lightsaber was thrown into a incinerator with a bunch of other Jedi lightsabers. So this was really interesting to see, and for him to actually call out Yoda's lightsaber to Grogu. I liked how he talked to him in the riddle cadence of Yoda, and he's like, that's the question we're all wondering: is that how Grogu is going to talk, or was Yoda just like trolling everybody? I like to believe Yoda was trolling everybody.
I was about to say, I think Yoda was a troll.
We learned what was in the Yoda shaped satchel that Den left. It was Beskar chainmail. And Luke gave him the choice. You can choose the chainmail and be protected from lightsabers, or you can take the lightsaber and you know, burn your thigh like your dad, adopted dad. So I'm like, dude, you want to protect this little guy? Like, give him the lightsaber and be like, oh yeah, by the way, your adopted dad dropped this off for you because he missed you while you were at summer camp.
So the thing when I've been thinking about that scene, because the first thing I thought was, dude, he just had memories of Jedi that if they had some type of Beskar chainmail on, they probably would have been able to, you know, take out the troopers. But I'm wondering if this is truly a test in the sense of, hey, if you pick this chainmail, you know, I'm going to kick you off this planet. Or he has to, if he does choose that, or one or the other, Luke can recalibrate the way he trains him. Because one of the things, as much as I love Star Wars and Jedi, you know, and again, this is in canon or the EU's, the Jedi's philosophy, while strong, is not infallible. It can be imperfect. And it kind of reminded me of another show that we've been watching, or we watched a couple months ago, and that's Cobra Kai, where you had Daniel always saying, hey, Miyagi-Do's the way to go. Miyagi-Do's the way to go. He said that ad nauseum. And it's not until the end where he sees, well, maybe a combination of styles is the best for this particular martial artist, whether it be my daughter or someone else.
So here's...
I'm hoping...
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I just kind of and I've had that going back and forth, wondering that about Luke, but also if we're taking in the Disney trilogy, if you want to go that direction, which I mean, and if you want to try to keep stuff canon, Luke did not learn that lesson yet.
Right. Okay. So here's the thing: is to your point about that, Luke unlocked Grogu's memories. So we got to see Order 66 through Grogu's eyes. The other thing is, as far as the Jar Jar Abrams sequel trilogy goes, Ben Solo was Luke Skywalker's first student. So here's the thing. We've heard a lot about they're going to erase the sequel trilogy. The second Grogu picks up that lightsaber next week, and I actually think they should wait until season 3, the actual season 3 proper of the Mandalorian.
I think they should.
I think the final episode should just be the, you know, whatever with the Pikes. But the second Grogu picks that up, like, it's a fractured alternate reality, and the sequel trilogy becomes non-canon.
And I'm fine with that. Actually.
I'm 100% okay with that. Like, it can be an Elseworld story, and that's all good. So,
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
But yeah, all right. It's such a good episode. Everyone should go watch it. So
yeah,
multiple times. So
I'm kind of worried that we're going to get back to the basic Boba Fett next week.
Well, they did blow up the mare.
Yeah.
With the Camtano of C4. So not the Camtano of Beskar is much more preferable to the Camtano of explosives. So
yes.
But yeah. All right. Cool. That's it. Go watch it. Like we've said all that we can say about it.
Yeah. It was it was so much fun. And I'll this is one thing I'll leave you with, this is that I've seen a couple articles and or videos talking about the quote unquote member berries or nostalgia baiting that this episode and in a way the last episode did, more of this episode than any other. And I say, you know what? If you do it right, it's fine. And I think
was the exact right
did it
kind
right.
of fan servicing. Like
yes,
throwing Lando
absolutely.
into the rise of Palpatine was not good fan service because it didn't make any sense. This everything that happened here made sense. So
yes, and that's all we ask. Yep. You know,
just be good. Be a good character driven story.
Be good. Yes. And that's what I'll leave you. That's what I was just going to leave it with.
Awesome. All right. On that note, if you guys like what we're doing, give us a 5-star review on iTunes and Podchaser. Just go to the website. It'll take you everywhere you need to go, which is infamouspodcast.com. Go like us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. Back us on Patreon for as little as $3 a month. And check us out on YouTube. We've got some exclusive stuff on YouTube that's happening now. More again. And yeah, any last words, D?
Nope. Although I will say I will be doing something. Speaking of weekly things, when Horizon comes out in a couple weeks, I'm looking to do maybe 1 week with Horizon Forbidden West or something along those lines.
Nice. I played more Zero Dawn, by the way, which is a blast. So.
Oh, that game is so much fun.
It's so much fun. And it's beautiful.
And when you get the story, the story is good, but then later on the story becomes great. Honestly, it's amazing.
Cool. I can't wait. So, all right. Well, on that note, thank you all for listening. We will see you next time. Bye.
See ya.